of Supervisors meeting for the town of Sevastopol on Monday, October 18th at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, shall we start off with a roll call to see if we have a quorum?
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Derek Daniel.
Here.
Chairman Dan Wolfle.
Here.
Supervisor Linda Wade.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Good to know. Meet and greet with the, mind introducing yourself? We'll go around the room.
Tamara Gillett, Town of Sevastopol.
Hi, Trent Olson, Town of Sevastopol.
Paul Becker, Town of Sevastopol.
Thad Ash, Door County Highway Department Commissioner.
Roger Turney from Southern Door.
Renee Borkovitz, Town of Sevastopol and Bowdoin.
Kurt Hogan, Portside Builders.
Melanie Schillbauer.
Craig Schillauer.
George Hinkle, Town of Sevastopol.
Tracy Watlett, Town of Sevastopol.
Dennis Watlett, the Town of Sevastopol.
Grace Nellis, Town of Sevastopol. Carrie Nellis, Town of Sevastopol.
And our videographers?
Now I put you where
Derek Denise, Town of Sevastopol.
Close up, like scary.
Glad you got me, Sevastopol.
All right, welcome. All right, public participation for non-agenda items. Anyone here wishing to speak with respect to that? Don't all jump at the chance. Okay. One more pass. All right, we will move on. All right. I assume that our agenda was properly noticed.
The agenda has been properly noticed.
Now we would need a motion to adopt.
I'll move to adopt the agenda as noticed.
Motion by Linda, seconded by?
I'll second that.
Second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right. Approval of minutes, Board of Supervisors meeting from September 13th and Board of Supervisors special meeting from October 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the Board of Supervisors meeting September 13th and the special meeting October 11th.
All right, motion by Derek, second by? Second by Mark. All right, keeping up with consistency. All had a chance to review those beforehand. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion carried. All right. Let's move on to discussion on new business is regarding the ATV and UTV usage on town roads. This is a discussion only this evening. Depending on where we track it, we may do something further down the road and try and establish a timeline. I found out when I got to the meeting tonight that the first item on in your agendas is a revised map, which really would like to have had a little earlier since I gave it all to the supervisors. But so we'll have to take a look at this and see how it compares with the map that we were previously given at the last meeting. I've invited Thad Ash this evening to come here because often many of the roads that would be used for ATV or UTV traffic would end up having to cross or use a portion of a county road. And as we have discussed at other meetings, the county has the ability to either allow access or deny it, as well as numerous other agencies which get an opportunity also, which consists of DNR, for example, the Highway Safety Committee, county. Everybody gets an opportunity to review the request that we might make to allow a UTV or ATV to cross over or use a portion of a county highway. And as you know, most of the county, I shouldn't say most, a lot of Southern Door is currently open for this type of vehicle usage. There are some communities to the north, which primarily is Bailey's Harbor, that have allowed access to some degree on their roads. And in the package here are copies of all the ordinances that we received from those surrounding communities. I would say after, and since you all know the packet was fairly sizable, there's an awful lot of confusing information with respect to this. You literally read one thing and the next minute you read something else and it conflicts. The advice in here is if we were to proceed is that we consult our town attorney to make sure what we do is legal. There's a lot of discussion in here with respect to speed limits and the use of roads, etc. I thought what I would do is I went through this package that you also have and just highlighted some things that I thought if you caught or didn't catch, I would just make mention of. And, you know, you obviously, I know many of you have questions. So as we go along, I'll just try and highlight some of the things I had questions on or something I thought merited a comment. And I started off with the request for ATV route access on county roads. And I think I had mentioned that if we were to go this route, we would conduct a hearing, public hearing, to allow the citizens to come in. And on page 2 of the attachment from the county, right at top, it says residents along the proposed route have been notified of the municipality's request, and they were able to provide input. And of course, in there, they want the date of the meeting, attached meeting minutes, as well as a few other requirements. So a hearing, if we do that, would qualify for that notification, at least in my estimation. Although we may go a little further in those areas where there could be potential conflicts or concerns, and make sure those people at least have an opportunity to voice their opinion. So, yes.
Can we ask a question as
Sure.
we get to each item?
Feel
This
free.
is probably for Mr. Ash. On the permit, it's $100. I think I counted about 6, 8, less than 10 where the trails would cross a county trunk. So is it $100 each time we get to a county trunk?
Not
or
when you cross.
100?
First off, that hearing that you're talking about, Dan, that is for the county road system you want to use.
Right.
You don't have to have that, though it's a good idea to have that information from your town. I think you're gonna be surprised at what the feedback you'll get on that. But you do not need that application is not, and you do not need permission to cross any state or county roadway.
Right.
You can, just like a snowmobile, you can cross directly across anyone at any time. There's no fee for crossing the road.
This is to use a section of a county road,
Oh, to use a
to
section.
use a section
Not
as
just
part of the
crossing.
three-hour route.
Okay, gotcha. Because I thought we would be using the fourth box, which says necessary county road access to connect a local route, but that is not the case. We're actually gonna be traveling on the county road,
On a section of the county
on a
road.
section of
On a
it.
section, whereas in the past,
That form is for any time that you would like to request to use a portion of a county road to adjoin your trails or to get to a business, like a gas station or that type of thing.
or if you came off of Plur Road and wanted to go down to Valmy, you would be accessing the county's road from Plur down the hill on P, and you would have that. And I think what Linda's asking is, would we pay just one time for all of the designated access points?
Correct.
Okay, that's kind of what
Now, in saying that, I can tell you right now from the last couple meetings that were held on some of these, that if you ask for multiple uses, the chances are they're probably going to get denied. That needs to be to a minimum, is what they're trying to do.
right?
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they won't allow 2, 3, they can allow 1, Roger, how they do it. They can allow 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter, as long as they make sense what they're doing and you're using the shortest possible route and length of time that you're on the county system.
Okay. Letty, why don't we give him that mic, or are you using it for something?
Okay, then, looking at the map that was in our packet, plus the map that was handed out tonight. There are no county sections indicated, like looking at either map, there's actually no way to get into downtown Valmy right now, except to use County T, and it's not highlighted, so.
There are no
So you
county
did
roads.
not highlight any county roads?
None.
You're
That's
just
why
at the
map
town level?
revision,
Okay.
Which was requested of us to
Okay.
do, by the way,
Right.
is what you have to know.
And then I did notice there were a couple private roads that are highlighted that would not be, Pine Tree Lane and Timber Lane, and I think that was it.
There's a number of them that were dropped.
They're
from
private, so,
Private or,
yeah.
you know, wherever.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
it's all right. Someone else has a question as we go along here, raise your hand or speak up.
I have a quick question for Thad. After, if this all gets approved on our roads and they have their routes on your roads, can we come back and add additional parts of county roads to attach?
Absolutely.
Okay,
What you need to establish first is the town needs to establish a route on their roads without using the county system. And it sounds like that's what this new map is, what Linda was just describing. That's what you as a town need to accept or have an ordinance or whatever on first. Once that is established, then you apply to the county for the pieces of the county road that you want to use. And in that application for that county road is where you need to ask the people who live on that section, you know, what's their input, you know, for or against or what they want to do, because that'll weigh heavily on the decision the county will make. But then it'll also go through Highway Safety Commission, Land Use Services to make sure it's not a bike path or, you know, a lot of foot traffic. It'll go through EMS and the Sheriff's Department. They all have a chance to weigh in on yay or nay, and then after that, it goes to county board.
so, but what I was asking is, so if that passes and then people are all riding and they find that there's a stretch of whatever road they want to add later, can we come back and add another? or
Absolutely.
Apply for, okay,
Absolutely.
all right.
And I think you answered this for me, I don't know if I shared it or not. We have a stretch, even though it's not on this map, we have a shared road between Jacksonport and us. And what is I believe the statement you had made is that it's up to the two towns to get together to resolve that issue?
Correct, and,
Okay.
and Roger has worked with a lot of the towns south, so he could answer a lot of these questions also, but yes, if both towns agree, that's all you need is a agreement between the towns.
Okay. All right. The next, I'm just gonna go through the sequence of stuff that's in the packet. So the next one is titled ATV, UTVs on the highway. Town Board Authority for opening the highways. And it discusses the fact that the town has the power to do that. The signing of the routes down on the bottom, it says the Wisconsin Towns Association was able to enact uniform signing rules for ATV, UTV routes under the 2017 Wisconsin Act. And I gave each of you a copy of this. I'm just gonna show it to you, the trail signing handbook. So everything's very defined as to the type of sign, where the signs can go. They can't be placed on certain other signs like stop signs, et cetera. So this would be the key guide to use if in fact we go through, they have to follow that in terms of signage, which is what you had proposed doing. The other one, with all of these signs, and just so I don't forget it because it popped into my head tonight, it is any signs placed in the right-of-way that are new, you'd have to contact Digger's Hotline to make sure you don't go through and end up damaging, which could be a little costly. So I didn't want to forget to mention that. Anyone have any questions with respect to that?
I was a little confused by the different things I read. I read in one section that you could not use the signs that look, have the ATV symbol
Right.
on it, that it had to be spelled out
Right?
instead. So which is it? Can you use
It's-
either or both, or?
Mr. Chern
Go
could
ahead.
probably.
What are you, which signs are you at? Here, I've
Well,
got some
there
signs
were
like
some-
straight.
so
Maybe
there
I'll be
was-
able to answer the questions when I show you the signs.
So there were some signs that showed an ATV. But then in some of the information I was reading, it said, no, you can't use those.
Okay,
You-
this
you
is
can
an
only use
ATV route sign.
You can use them.
Okay, that's a route.
Okay, the route sign, then you can use.
And then- Then usually an arrow has to be put at the beginning of the road and then on the opposite end of the road, okay? And these arrows, they come every which way in that.
Okay.
Then, you can't put no ATVs, some towns have used it. This is the only ones that the state will allow. When you,
Right.
that's it. Be on the end of the road or wherever you don't want them, on a dead end road if you don't want ATV. That's a sign, that's the only legal sign in the state of Wisconsin.
Go ahead.
That says trail. We will not have any trails, I don't think. We'll have routes. Does
So
that
no.
matter, Roger,
No,
whether it
it's-
says
it's-
trail or route?
The trail is a highway route.
Okay.
And then there's another lot of them where we put the arrows where the ATV route. And then along the way, once, just to remind people, we would put stay on paved road. You put those signs up in front. But there is no trails in Southern Door. They're all in blacktop. And I can say when you were talking about the county, I worked with John usually when we decided to go, we're gonna do a county road, first thing I would do, the same would do. I went and asked John, is it possible? If John says no, because I can tell you, there was cave, we never could go on. And I started there, and then if it was possible with him, then we worked our way through. And it was staying with him. There's certain places, it just isn't correct, it's just not gonna happen. So it's usually best to start with him, and then go back and start working with the trail that you want.
On your town, I didn't hear what town, Roger, you're with?
I mean, well, I'm not any town board, I'm just kind of organized here. Gardner, Brussels, Union, and town of Sturgeon Bay. Nassau is also, but I did not start with Nassau. Started it, and they came to me. I own this Cisco Mart down there to try to get the business people in, and from there we went on. Because all ours said, I'm just gonna show this thing from this far. The 4 townships, except for Nassau, we only use this sign.
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay, these signs are put at the entrance of the town.
Right.
And that's all you have to, no more signs, because people complain they get signs.
Other than the
over.
signs that.
And then when you come to that sign, this is coming in your sign, on the back, this sign has to be put up. It's the end of your township,
Right.
unless that township is allowing on that road. But otherwise, this is what goes up on the end of that sign. That's the easiest.
And there's mixed
And you can,
feedback.
even when you say that, with all the town roads, there's roads that you don't want, that are marked, then these signs are used. To, if you have one road that you don't want.
Right.
This is the simplest way, we did all the signage, that's why we got here, we did all the signage, now we've all got this, that's why I told them we donate a lot of arrows, because we took a lot of arrows down after. So the four towns, they have used these.
Yeah, there was mixed commentary in this package that said, use that approach on one hand, and the next page said, avoid this
Yes.
approach and sign everything. So I don't know, left or right, but that's, again, some of the confusing stuff that we get in the packet. The key is that, I'm sorry.
Just in between, what we signed, we would sign the whole road at the time we started.
Right.
Now you only have, and people complain, I want that sign in it, but anyway, now, the beginning of the road and the opposite end of the road is all you have, signs, that's it, no arrows going all the way down. But you get to an intersection, if they go either way, they make an arrow goes either way. But that's all you have to, according to the state, that's all you have to
Correct.
do now.
I think the DNR stuff was very confusing.
Yeah.
You read that, it was back and forth, back and forth.
Well, that's what I said, in one hand it said, do the entire town, and the next one it said, do every street. I mean, obviously, Johnson, but she'd go, all the signs that were up, all the, like billboards, I mean, it was like, drive through some communities, and it's just one big arrow sign after another, so. It'd be nice if you didn't have to do that.
That wants to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
And that's kind of why a lot of the townships are going to this ATV, UTV routes, all roads are open,
right,
because you don't have two arrows on every road. You only got the white sign that says you're not allowed on a few select roads, and you're done with it.
yep.
Otherwise, you'll have two or more arrows on every road that you approve.
I agree with that. Well, it's the conflict that, you know, even in their own packets, they tell you one thing versus the other. What was interesting is talking about speed limits, another one that seems to conflict, saying that you cannot set the speed limit below the existing speed limit as long as it's 35 miles an hour or less. So obviously, if we get that far, we'll let Amy work out the details. That would be my take. So, yes.
Can I ask about the speed limits? So in the DOT all-terrain thing, it says authorized operation on a highway that has a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or less, or above 35 miles per hour with DOT approval. If our roads, if they're not posted, it's automatically 55 miles per hour. So I take it that the speed limit can be 55 miles per hour. Town of,
What's that?
County N, isn't it 55 down there? I recall traveling to County N and it's 55, even with your
Takes a lot for a machine.
well, the town of
It takes a
Sturgeon
lot
Bay's,
for a machine
the
to
town
get
of
up to that
Sturgeon
speed.
Bay's ordinance says lesser of 30 miles per hour or the posted speed limit, so that would be contrary to Wisconsin statute. And, you know, so can we create a separate speed limit for ATVs? And if we do that, then the sheriff's department will enforce a statute, but it would not enforce our specific little, you know.
So it's unenforceable.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Unless you hire your own patrol person
in our own
and
citations.
then you had your
and all
own court system.
that. So can I ask if the southern towns, do they abide by the 55 miles per hour rule?
Yeah, in fact, when we first started it, we had Pat McNulty and actually
I can't hear you.
Terry Vogel.
Can you use the mic, please? We can't hear you.
We had Pat McCarthy and I believe it was Terry Vogel at that time. And their biggest thing, but there was questions on it. In the end, what they wanted is, they wanted it to go by that state statutes, because then they have
They
all
will enforce it.
jurisdictions. If you put something else in there, I can't tell you how it works, but that's what they wanted, that's what we settled it in the 5 townships, and
I'm guessing that some of these were created before all the rules were laid down, and so we're looking at
Unenforceable.
well,
Right.
something that's not been updated in the way of an ordinance. Because there are some real conflicting things as you look through the varying ordinances from each community.
Yeah.
So we would just say whatever the posted speed
Speed
limit
limit
are.
is,
Do ATVs and UTVs go faster than 55 miles per hour?
oh yeah. Especially down,
Yeah,
I've got 1,000, I can't get it up there, I mean, I can get it to 50, but
downhill and over a cliff. They're very fast, yes. I don't think there's many that don't go at least that speed, under current stuff.
very few.
Okay, and the same thing applies, again, along the same lines was ATVs. There's some restrictions in some of the ordinances we saw about driver's licenses. And inside the guidebook from the DNR, there are certain areas where even young kids, I think as young as 12, can ride on a trail if in fact there's an adult that's supervising them, but they're not allowed to cross.
On a route.
They're not allowed to cross any county, state highways. So it gets a little sticky.
And to that point too, I noticed the Town of Sturgeon Bay and the Bailey's Harbor ordinances both say that the operator must have a driver's license. So I'm guessing that is not enforceable.
Enforceable. That's my impression from reading some of this stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
We just talked about the signing on the next page. Bottom of that page where it says, if you're gonna do an ordinance, contact your attorney, sounds like a good idea. Because all of these are, we'll give her all of them if that's the case and let her figure it out. Inside these various ordinances, which I gave you copies of, if we get that far, we will send them all to Amy and let her put them into something that makes sense. And do you have, any of you have any questions with respect to those?
Are you guys talking at all in the group about doing any of the highway? Any sections? I know it's not on here, but,
Like 4257 highway?
yep. Okay. I didn't know if there's any stretches to go from, yeah, any, okay.
You won't. That's not gonna happen.
I didn't think so, but I didn't,
I'll tell you right now, DOT will not allow that.
that's why I was asking.
And my biggest concern in all of this, and I've got the revised maps, so you've reduced down the number of access points on Bay Shore Drive, which makes sense. And Shack Road looks like a pretty natural location to access the bay. But, you know, I was sitting at the hitching post last week, Sunday, and I heard this noise, and I looked up and down Whitefish Bay Road came a UTV, 2 people in it, pulled right down, you know. The roads aren't even open, and it is a county road at that point as well. So I'd like to know how you plan on policing this.
Yeah.
Because what I am afraid of, right, and I mean, and I own an ATV, so I'd like to be able to do the same thing, but you have to do it within the guidelines. And what I don't wanna do is, I don't wanna see people going down Glidden Drive. I don't wanna see people going down Bark Road. I don't wanna see people going down Clark Lake, West Shore. You know, all of these maps that you've given us now have taken those sections off, but you still have a junction point or a point where the next thing you do is take a quick right and, you know, go a half mile or a quarter mile and access wherever you wanna go. So, I am concerned about that aspect of it, because if the people that want this, yourself and the rest of the community, says, hey, it's okay, they are basing that decision on what you tell them you're going to ride and where you're gonna ride it, not all the other places that you're not expected to go that I'm afraid will become regular routes. Southern Door has, I think, every square inch just about open, so it doesn't create that problem, but I think in many of our areas, there's potential problems. So, yes, that.
You're not gonna stop that problem, whether it's signed or not. What you're gonna do with the signage and opening the roads is you're gonna keep the honest people honest, just like everything else.
Right.
Speed limit's 55. How many drive 65 or 70? They're gonna do it. Where I live, I've lived there for 34 years. My section is not on a trail. I can count 15 ATVs that go up and down my road daily. The people who are gonna do it are gonna do it. Again, you're gonna keep the honest people who are out there, who wanna go to these establishments, go to their friend's house. They're gonna do it the way it's supposed to be done. Now, in adopting a town's ordinance, yes, if you go beyond what the DOT or the state statute calls for, you're taking that on yourself, and that is enforceable by the town. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, the sheriff's department is not gonna come out and write a ticket for everybody that's on the wrong road. What you'll have to get them to do is, if you get enough complaints, you call on a nuisance report. Then they'll come and take care of the nuisance, unless you have a town constable or somebody who's willing to patrol your roads. Yeah, and that's in all towns. All townships are that way.
Why a nuisance versus a?
Because you have, just like Linda just said, you've got contradicting reports on what the speed limit can and should be. And usually when you call the sheriff's department, it's after the fact, so you can't prove how fast they were going. So were they speeding or were they not? I mean, a lot of people
Yes.
call our trucks in daily, say they're speeding, but a bigger vehicle looks like it's going faster. Now, if you're standing in your yard, and I do this, because my neighbor rides it up and down the road, he looks like he's really flying, but he's not really going that fast. So,
Well, to remember, the bigger vehicle looks like it's going
It
faster
does.
than my truck, I'll keep that in mind.
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
I
Ask
see
all.
this town of Sturgeon Bay ordinance have that it must have license plates. Are ATVs, UTVs required to be registered and licensed and have a plate? So they are required, okay.
They have a numbered plate that the owner follows with the sticker and puts it on the back of their ATV for identification.
So just like a snowmobile,
Basically,
registered,
yep.
okay.
Well, snowmobile doesn't-
You have a sticker on, you also have a license.
You actually have a license plate,
So
snowmobile
you
doesn't
do
have a
have a
license
plate.
plate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3x9 or something like that, not huge, but you don't know if anybody could read the numbers as you go by, but it's there. So, okay. Also in this packet that you have, a lot of this stuff starts to conflict. You have the State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation All-Terrain Vehicles and Utility Terrain Vehicle Guidebook. And following that, I don't know if you've seen all these wonderful publications that
Yep.
they've given us.
Yep.
The ATV Guide and Suggestions. So there's a laundry list of ideas. I think I had a couple here that I marked.
Before we leave the signage issue,
Yes.
we do want to let you know that we have received both written and verbal commitments from town businesses and out-of-town businesses that they are willing to contribute to the cost of the signage. So we thought that was important for you to know and be made aware of.
I believe that you had, or we had discussed that earlier. I was anticipating that the cost of the signage was coming from your group and that you were going to place the signs.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
So
and I read something that said that
there's a
they
conflict.
can't, yeah,
There's
that
a
they
conflict.
can't place the signs.
They can if we give them the okay to place the signs. The key is that the signs have to be placed in a sturdy, they can't be a snowmobile sign that, you know, when the weather warms up, falls over. Because once the signage is up and if it's placed correctly, then the town is liable to maintain the sign.
Yes.
But it can be assigned to the group to do that. So,
I
but
thought they had
again,
to be a group approved by,
this,
so
It's not like we're the first ones on the block,
No,
but
I read the ordinances that
Sure.
these other towns have done. And if you read the information supplied by DOT and DNR, and you read that, and it conflicts totally, not totally, but it conflicts in many ways with what some of these ordinances are saying. So you don't know, like, I think Linda made a comment about, was it town Sturgeon Bay, I think it was, that said about the speed limit. And stuff I read said that, you know, you can't control the speed limit. The town cannot control the speed limit, even though the town of Sturgeon Bay has it in their ordinance that they can't travel over certain. So it's very confusing.
and I've talked to some of the other people in the southern section, but I think the key thing that we have to deal with is we're a little bit higher traffic levels and a little bit more tourist focused in our communities or tourist areas, closer residential communities, so we gotta just keep that in the back of our mind as we look at this. Did you have a question?
Well, I think as far as signage too, as Ms. Vogel said, even if someone else pays for the signs, there's recommendations, I think, from Wisconsin Towns Association, others, that the town should install and maintain those signs just to avoid liability when it comes to lack of signage or that, you know, dangerous culverts or rocks or anything like that, that the town should do the actual installation and maintain and regularly,
That's
inspect.
on the
those
trails,
signs.
not the routes. That section's all in trails, we're not doing any trails. That's not on the routes.
Oh.
There's a lot of stuff that we got in this packet here, all this right here is completely useless to us. This is
Because
all,
it's trails.
it's all trails.
Yeah, there's some packets.
So, I mean, we have 25 pages of trail, so this does nothing for us.
And I suppose since you're required to operate on the far right side, hopefully there are no rocks or culverts interrupting our town roads.
Well, we do our roads tour, so
They have to be on the roads.
They have to be
They
the
have to be on the
far
road.
right side of the paved road.
Right, so you're not to run in the shoulders of the
Right.
ditches or
Right.
any of the other stuff, correct?
Dan, I think what you're gonna find is, you're gonna find what the DOT suggests, you're gonna find what the DNR suggests. And each one of those ordinances you've got from the different towns is how they took each part of their township a little further, where they felt more important should have been added to. And that's perfectly fine, because everybody has their own opinion.
Right.
But just so you understand that each one of these towns that have these separate ordinances, it's up to them to enforce them. You know, the DOT and the DNR is giving you suggestions on what they recommend, and if you create an ordinance, you can make it say what you want, but then you're gonna be
Right.
responsible for the enforcement of it.
But unlike Fish Creek and Bailey's Harbor, we do not have gun will travel.
I understand that.
That, creates another little issue.
Understand that.
So we would follow the guidelines so that it was enforced by the sheriff.
From experience, and again, I'm a UTV person, my area is not on the UTV route, though I would love to use it wherever I can. You'll find far less violators of the UTV, ATV rule if you have roads open than if you don't.
Well, I don't have an issue with open roads per se. The concern is the roads that are unopened and how much, I have this phone, and it rings a lot.
Not as
And I
much as
don't-
mine, I'll
And I
guarantee.
don't really wanna be listening to certain messages. I mean, I'm glad, and we knew this all going in, the Glidden Drive, for example, Bark Road, these West Shore, these roads aren't gonna be open. We expect there'll be traffic on them that shouldn't be there, but, I don't wanna be, tarred and feathered for trying to go down some of these town roads or different access points. It's strictly a function of trying to self-police the people that they aren't going places that are not designated trails. That would be it. And I don't wanna belabor this thing because in terms of what's legal and what isn't, if we get that far, we'll give it to Amy Sullivan, have her do it up the right, so we're not dealing with this because it's very conflicted. And you read one thing and the next page it tells you something else. So we'll leave it at that. The process, what was I gonna say? What we would do is, if you're in agreement, is we would schedule a public hearing to get the feedback from the townspeople. If there are one or two roads that you anticipate coming back and asking us to open at a later time, I would suggest that you include that up
You
front.
mean town roads or county roads?
A county road access.
Okay.
I do not want to be nickel and dimed each month for another road or two. So if you're gonna, for example, Plur Road, if you're gonna go Plur Road and right after we open it up, you're gonna turn around the next month and come back and say, gee, we really need to get a Whitefish Bay to the happy hour or to the gas station, then I wanna know that up front. We'll deal with the county after the fact, but I don't wanna come back every month and say, oh, we want a road, some we're gonna say yay or nay on, but I wanna know those now versus later, okay? So anybody,
Can we say yea or nay of whether we wanna go forward with the county road?
well, we
Or
are
is
the ones
that-
that have to apply and go and meet their criteria, yes.
Okay.
So it would be kinda like the RPC kind of thing.
Yep, gotcha.
We'd ask, they would tell us whether or not, after it's gone through the various checkpoints, whether or not they'd allow it. So,
I think if you're going through the public hearing process, you might as well hit the whole kick the whole cat at the same time. I mean, that's when you're gonna get your input.
That's
So,
why I asked, because I don't wanna
The previous
go.
maps that we had with the proposed, we had like little dashes with the proposed county roads that we wanted,
Right,
you know, in order to get to our town businesses, like the happy hour, like the gas station, et cetera. Is that something then you want back in place of this?
well,
Or,
the earlier maps, we've got 3 sets of maps, I believe. The first set, then a second set that you brought at another meeting and tonight's. But, for example, you had access points on Bay Shore, like 3 or 4 access points. I think on your most recent map, there's
only one.
just one.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously, I'm not expecting another map with all of
no,
those
I'm
back.
just talking about the previous ones. We did have dashed lines with proposed county roads to be opened, you know, should things get approved. And of course, if you're asking what county roads we would anticipate having opened, if in fact this all goes all or none,
Right,
what I'm asking of you is, would you like that map back then, so you could see? And of course, we would make the adjustments, but I'm not gonna keep buying sets of maps, because
No.
they're not free, so just so you know.
no, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, eventually, but within reason.
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No, we're just,
So-
like I had said from the get-go, our proposed county road request with a little dash line was simply to access our businesses. It wasn't like we wanna start at Gordon Road and head all the way up Bay Shore Drive. Obviously, that was not,
Right, no, I understand that.
so,
But we
okay,
had, you know, issues that were inside that. So, yeah,
sure,
if Fleur Road to the happy hour is one of those, then let's define that,
okay.
you know, so we know what's up. So when we do the public hearing and, you know, it's done, it limits all that necessary next steps.
Yeah, everybody should have input
Right.
if the route goes by their
And we'll know
yard.
the routes, and we'll make sure that the people that are involved in the routes are notified so that they can come and comment and, you know, give them, I don't want a lot of after the fact, gee, I didn't know, which we
Right.
get.
Okay, so if we post that all town roads are open to ATV, UTV traffic, but then looking at your most recent map, you have not indicated all of the roads. So at Strand Road or at Bluff Court Trail, we would have to put that no ATV allowed? There's quite a few.
Linda, I think some of those, we have no idea if they're dead ends, whatever. If people live down that road and it's a dead end and it's a private road, they're able to drive down it. I mean, I wasn't, we didn't look at every single map to see if it was a private road or what it was. We just figured if there's one house down that road.
Well,
Well,
like
for
Blythe
example-
Road or North Brower, I mean, you know, those have some homes on it and it's not indicated, so that's why I was asking if we post all
Well,
roads.
Some of those roads were
What's
not,
your question there? I can tell you, we had problems at Aswap, we actually right behind the fire station, right now, they were going down there, didn't realize it, so then we just put a dead end. We didn't put no four-wheeler, we put a dead end sign up, so people, not every road dead end has a dead end sign on it.
Right.
So we put some of them up, so people went down there, I mean, they were just.
I took
traveling
your last map, not tonight's, but the other one, and there were roads in there. For example, there was a section of Haverly Road that wasn't marked. There was a section, there were a number of little
Country
chunks
Road.
of roads that weren't marked, so,
and without the county road access, there was nowhere for those to basically go, I believe is why we may not have marked them.
no, because you
No.
have Brower, Country View, and Haverly, so there's just, all we'll do is look at that map,
Yeah.
and I'll be happy to give you yours back if you like, and just make sure that we eliminate, you know, not eliminate, that you include them, so we don't have to eliminate them with a sign.
Okay,
Because it wouldn't make any sense to put signs on 1 mile of Haverly Road when it's surrounded by all town roads that you could access it on.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
Thad, did we ever get a ruling or whatever you wanna say on how many access points we can have to a county road? How many terminations, like on Bay Shore Drive, or is there a number?
No, there's not a so-called magic number. You put in your request for what you want, and then it's up to the highway committee and county board to accept how many. Now, if you want to access, 7 or 8 different spots in your town, I'm thinking that's probably not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, like,
I think if you wanna, like, I heard you say you're coming down Bluff Road or whatever, down to Shack. I think if you wanna get to Birmingham's and get to the stone quarry, that would be a good section to put off. I think that's a real accessible road.
that's not what I'm asking, just the roads getting to, like Matthew Drive, different ones that end at Bay Shore Drive. Like County C, there's how many that end on County C?
I think we counted 3 that.
So I mean, there's not a number saying you can't just, the road and stops there.
But
You know,
also
say-
the southern part was under the old guidelines before the Duluth Avenue, Bullhead Point fiasco
Yeah.
came up, which is
So,
what
Mark, what are you
created.
asking? At the end of the town roads that stop at Bay Shore Road, what do you do there?
Yeah, and that's fine, right?
And
You
the
can-
trail
You
side.
can do as many as you want on,
Oh yeah, you can come up to it, you can cross it.
yep,
You just can't drive on the county road. Yeah, you can cross 100 places if you wanna cross, state and county.
but I mean,
Doesn't
Bay
matter.
Shore you can't cross, obviously. You know what I mean, where there's not a road, you know, there are
Right.
dead ends there.
Right, on each road you can cross, or those people can cross to get onto the town
Yeah.
road and go, yes,
Yep.
they can cross. There's no limit as how many places you can cross.
Okay, questions yet?
Looking at a previous county board ordinance, when it came to, designating sections, it says county highways, I guess you can put, all that portion of county HH in the town of Sevastopol, or you can put segments from Matthew to wherever. So
Yes.
whatever you want it to say, you can just specify that
Correct, the segment.
for the
The
county
segment,
to approve.
and the shorter time, or the shortest distance that you're on that county road, the better your
Better.
odds of getting it accepted.
So, for example, Nelson Lane to Whitefish Bay to the hitching post, something like that.
Okay. Anyone else have any other comments, questions?
I'd just like to see, get to the businesses, you know, obviously that's a big draw, trying to help the local businesses out. I'm sure you guys have discussed that and have that plan.
Absolutely, and that was our intention in the initial outline of the mapping, was basically to access our business and, certain highlights in our township, and I'll just use this as an example because it's just popping in my head, but like the motorcycle memorial, and things like that. And I know in Southern Door, it's barn quilts. People drive all over the place looking for these barn quilts so they can photograph them, and I know in Southern Doors maps, they have them all outlined as to where they're at. It's just, it's things like that we wanna keep, in our rural portion of our township, access, and then getting to our businesses.
Okay. Well, I think we're on the same page relative to the road access, so that's fine. So what I would propose we do is we schedule a public hearing. We would do it in December. Because we have everything with the town budgets, special hearings in November, but we could do it either as a standalone or part of the December town board meeting. Anybody have any questions, thoughts? Okay. We'll work out a date. We'll get back to everyone and we'll schedule a public hearing for their input and we'll go from there. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thad. Roger.
Tammy, did you want this signing thing? You got it? I don't know. Okay. Well, it's- No problem. All right. Pardon me? No. Okay, next item on our agenda is the owners, Krieg and Melanie Schilbauer, is that correct? Represented by Renee Borkovitz. Requesting a variance from the 75-foot setback from the center of the county road right-of-way. A proposal to remove the existing detached garage and construct a two-story 24 by 10 by 25 by 8 attached garage with living quarters on the top located as close as 43 feet from the county road right-of-way. Property is located at 5049 Bayshore Drive. And Linda, I will give this to you.
Okay, so the Plan Commission heard this on Tuesday, October 12th, and Melanie Schobauer was there, and Renee Borkovitz from Bodwin Engineering was there, and Kurt Hogan from Portside Builder, and they gave an overview of their plans. And the Plan Commission, it was unanimous, vote of 7-0, to support and forward a recommendation to support to the town board for the request for the variance. We looked at, the Schilbauers indicated that they intended to move permanently to Door County, and so this would be a residential use by the owners. We had some discussion on the holding tank, which if you look at the site map that I believe was on page, I don't know what page it is on your packet, but you'll see the holding tank on the northern end of the property, and they do intend to replace that and move it to the south of the new proposed garage addition. So, and it is a holding tank, not a mound system. The reasons that we, Renee and they were complimented on their presentation, very comprehensive. I mean, all the questions were answered. The packet is very comprehensive as far as giving us the information. The reason for the Plans Commission's decision to support the request was the current detached garage, very old garage, is barely like 6 feet, 10 feet off of Bayshore Drive. And obviously there's a safety concern there in and out of that garage, being so close to the roadway. It's actually within the right-of-way, so removing that existing garage and adding an attached garage would certainly be an improvement. The owners and Ms. Borkovitz indicated that they were going to try to preserve as many trees, retaining the natural character of the lot as much as they could. We also felt that the proposed drawing, and again, you have the architectural designs in there, was certainly in line and consistent with neighboring properties. If you've been down Bayshore Drive, it's in Little Harbor, so that would certainly fit right in with the neighborhood. Is it consistent with the town's comprehensive plan? We agreed that definitely it was. It's retaining a residential residence and again fitting in with the existing character of the neighborhood. Did we have any concerns or objections that we might want to address? We felt if the holding tank was going to be moved, as long as that was done in consensus with whatever the sanitarians department dictated, that would be fine. So again, it was unanimous to support.
We don't get many applications that are typed.
I said it was very comprehensive, and their presentation at the Plan Commission, I don't know if there's anything they wish to add, but
Feel free, it's your chance, before we say no. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I've missed anything. Did I miss anything?
I think just a couple points that we want to highlight is that, like currently the garage is right approximately 10 feet off of the road. Almost half of it's in the right-of-way right now. So by removing that and the portion of the attached garage that will be in the road setback, it's gonna be, pushed farther away, so now it'll be about 10 feet off of the road, right of way. And it's actually gonna be angled a little bit more as well. So it'll range from about 10 feet to 20 feet, from the road right of way. And based on how the parcel lines are with the angle that the Bay Shore Drive comes in at, it makes for a very tight and potential blind spots right where that existing garage is now. So the biggest thing is that it's going to improve safety immensely and accessibility as well for the owners to actually use their driveway and use their garage, which is very difficult right now.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from any of the board? No, it seemed to make sense to me from looking at it. And I know some of the homes along that section can be very close to, and some of the outbuildings are very close to the side of the road. So I certainly have no issue with it, I don't think. So I would leave it up to our Plan Commission Chair to make a motion.
All right, I would make a motion that the Sevastopol Town Board forward to the county a recommendation in support of the request for the variance.
So we have a motion by Linda, second by,
I'll second that.
second by Jeannie to support the request for variance. All right. Anyone have any further comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Did you want to address the reasons and that worksheet, or just use the same ones that the planning commission used?
I think you guys did a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then you can, don't buy an ATV though where you live, it's not part of it. Could be later. All right. Somewhere in here I have a meeting schedule. Proposed dates for next year. And there was one date missing in there where it said annual town meeting was Tuesday the 19th. So we needed Tuesday.
Everyone knows, it's the
I
third
thought it was
Tuesday of April.
interesting. Tuesday, 19/20/22 at 6 p.m.
Yep, I'm gonna be there.
Pick a month.
So
Wherever it
I
fits.
think that
Wherever
the
it fits.
updated one will say April, I'm pretty sure,
Absolutely
right?
will.
So, anyhow, the dates are our typical dates, as we have had in the past, and inevitably, we end up moving one, give or take. But the key one would be the November one, which we've moved to accommodate the deer hunters, as we have in the past, which would be the time that we would also do our budget hearing, et cetera. So, does anybody have any known conflicts that we want to try to address up front?
I don't, the Board of Review and Open Book seems to be pushing back, like every year we seem to go back a week or two. But, I mean, no big deal, but.
It's staying pretty stagnant, and we put the board review, instead of on that Monday, we moved it to a Tuesday, so that anyone with objections would be able to get their notice in 24 hours before the meeting. So
Good
just make a
idea,
note
Amy.
of that,
And she asked that they do the open book in person,
in person this year.
which is good.
Why is the March TBA?
Because we generally don't have a meeting in the month of March. So it's always left to the call of the chair. So if there's a need for one, we do it. For some reason or another, I mean, and I've been on this obviously a long time, we get into the winter months, everything slows up. I don't know why everything has to come in spring and summer, but anyway, it gives you an opportunity to do something else. How's that? All right, with that, Amy will make a couple corrections and she will republish that and send it out. All right. Next item is I've made a couple additions to the 2021 committees, park committees, in particular, Park and Rec Committee, adding Casey Lautenbach and adding Derek Daniil, filling out that board. I think there's a lot to be done there. We have a lot of projects on the table, and I think the more people that can contribute ideas and thoughts would be good. So, neither of those people have any issues. They're happy to do it, so I just wanted to make
Steve.
you aware of it.
The communications and technology, you should eliminate Steven's name.
Okay.
He's
Oh, that's-
resigned, or
I just did that.
said
He's
yeah.
gone.
There-
I just
there you go.
deleted him.
Just like that.
You lost one?
Yeah, he
No.
did, actually,
He was at a
at the
couple.
beginning of the school year, he really said he'd want to step away because he's got too much going on.
Good catch. Okay.
So are we gonna add something back to that?
Well,
Odd number
Mr.
now.
Chairman's told me that the odd number's better.
Yeah, that's what
When I was
thinking.
trying to form a new committee, I had asked more than, 2 people, and they both said yes, so I couldn't very well feel that I could say, no, you can't serve, so that's why we ended up at 6, so we'll probably stay where we are.
Was that a committee you wanted to be part of, Mark?
Absolutely not.
Just wanted to
I'm too
clarify.
old for technology.
I just wanted
You
to
tell me
clarify
about it.
that to make sure. Just, sometimes supervisors are hiding in the wings, just dying to
Not
get in.
that one.
All right, okay,
I mean, no thank you, is what I meant to say.
all right, you're good to go. All right, next thing, we'll go through the financial reports, which you have our account balances. You also have the budget versus actual and the transaction list for the month. And Amy's gonna tell us some fabulous news.
The proposed 2022 budget is available on our website under the Budget and Financials tab. We'll also be publishing it in the Advocate, and the public budget hearing is scheduled for Monday, November 29th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Thanks for that reminder. Motion to accept the financial reports, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the financial reports of September 2021.
Motion by Mark, second by
Second.
Jean, oh, excuse me,
We're mixing it up.
second by Linda, that's all right, my brain started saying something else. All right. Motion by Mark, second by Linda, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, thanks, tried to confuse me like that. Okay, we also have in your packet the Plan Commission meeting minutes from September 7th, as well as Wednesday, July 14th.
Dan, should we jump back to the treasurer, or
Yeah,
the
Sorry.
You missed the treasure
number 12?
Yep,
and the
I did,
treasurer's report?
I have just too many
and
things here.
vouchers.
Correct, I do need the approval, and everyone has had a chance to look at the vouchers,
Yeah.
claims, and bills.
Yeah.
So tell me who'd like to make a motion to approve them.
I'll make that motion. to approve
Motion by
vouchers,
Derek.
Bills and claims.
Second.
Second by Mark to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims for September
back.
14th through October 18th. Everybody signed them, any other questions, concerns? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Amazing, motion carries, all right. Now we'll go on to the Plan Commission meeting minutes from Tuesday, September 7th, and Wednesday, July 14th. Motion, anyone have any questions? If not, a motion to approve and put them on file.
I'll move to accept and place on file the 2 Plan Commission meeting minutes.
Motion by Linda,
Second.
second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, amazing. Okay. You have Door County inspections for the month. They've had a busy month as usual. All right. And off to correspondence. We have something here about Laddie.
Oh, yeah.
What
So,
would that be?
so our program director, Mr. Laddie Chapman, was named Producer of the Month by the Wisconsin Community Media. A little background to Laddie is in 2002, Laddie instigated the creation of the PEG, Public Education and Government Access Channel in the town of Sevastopol. And he recognized that the need for a local TV channel, and it was a ideal way to nurture community bonds, preserve history, provide education and entertainment, and communicate with the citizens. So it's Charter Channel 986, the voice of Door County. So we congratulate Laddie on his being named Producer of the Month, and please go to the Wisconsin Community Media website and read the whole article. I didn't know a lot of things about Laddie, like his education and being in Hollywood. So if that doesn't snag a few people to wanna, check it out.
The photo alone.
Yes, and the photo
alone is.
very, very.
Was this taken during the Oscars?
No, it was 7 years ago.
Oh. Well, congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, Laddie. Good job.
And as the Producer of the Month, he's also working on, in case you haven't heard, on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, I would encourage you to do that. And there's a handy little glyph on the bottom of our agenda. You can take your camera, click on it, it will take you to the website, and you can sign up for the official town YouTube channel. All right, good. Does anyone have an idea of the population of the town of Sevastopol? Has anybody seen a sign with that information on
I
it?
saw that on the sign. I complimented our clerk for posting little
Actually, I did
trivia
see it.
questions up there. Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, on our
I like it.
electronic
On the,
sign?
yes.
Yeah, I never.
on the
I
billboard,
never drive by there.
which the town does not pay for that billboard, in case you're wondering. It's a freebie. The population of the town after the last census is now 2,774, and I only mention that in the event that you live on the wrong side of our town and never go by the billboard. But you're free to drive by and admire it. All right,
Thank you.
good to go. You also notice of our payment advice, general transportation aids, $55,000. Thank you to the state. A copy of the approval from Door County Land Services for the storage buildings that were on last month's agenda. If you didn't take a peek at this,
The
they,
RBC.
the RPC, they attached quite a few regulations, which I think was terrific. They addressed some conditional use permits that happened with the prior one. I think they addressed the issues that the Shanks had
Yes.
with
Yeah.
respect to their property lines, trees, et cetera, et cetera. So I was real pleased to see that they went, and now all we have to do is make sure that they do those things. So, also in the packet is Mark Schrader's approval for the variance request for the building that he placed on his lot by near or adjacent to Grandma Tommy's. I'm happy to report that we have regained first place in the Door County Sheriff's Office incident totals report.
Yes.
That was disturbing to me to read that.
May through August, we got her.
Yep, we locked this down with 403 officer involved incidents. Second place was Town of Egg Harbor. They've actually moved up substantially. So we'd like to see that trend down, but at any rate,
Well,
that's,
we do have the highest population though.
that's
too.
true. We do have that.
And, if there's an incident at school, like, if you look at Nassawapi, with Southern Door, they get,
So we'll just, next
not
quarter,
necessarily a
change
bad
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. Not necessarily a bad thing.
I also have a copy of a support letter that we generated to the Bay Lake, for the Bay Lake Regional Planning Commission to help them attain a waterfront planning toolkit. So Linda was kind enough to put that in place for them.
It's really well-written, his way.
Oh, thank you.
And you have a copy of the Animal Control Officer Agreement with Mark Richards. So if there is an animal issue, as you know, Mark can be called and he will come out and hopefully resolve the problem. And last item in there is the City of Sturgeon Bay's fire report for the month of August. So that takes care of all of the correspondence. Announcements, we have a Park and Rec meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. The Turkey Trot, which is part of the Sturgeon, of Sevastopol Schools, is Saturday, November 6th. That happens at the town park. We will have our special board and budget meeting on Monday, the 29th, which usually precedes our normal town meeting, which starts at 7. And I didn't know this, but we're going to have our 3rd annual Christmas party Friday, December 3rd, from 5 to 8. And is any word on Santa yet?
We have not had contact with him so far.
It's about time you get on top of that one. You can't have a Christmas party without Santa.
Very true.
All right, good enough. Anything else that we need to bring back for next month that you're aware of? Hearing none.
Mr. Chairman, could I make a quick announcement, please?
Sure.
It's a couple weeks ahead with Halloween coming up, and I'm going to have for 48 hours, Saturday and Sunday, that's the 30th and the 31st, it's going to be horror films.
Oh.
All night. Probably no repeats. Some of them, they're awful, usually old stuff, 50s things, but when the horror films were at their peak. But anyway, if you have a channel, I hope you get scared.
Okay.
All right?
You can watch them. Will they be on the YouTube channel as well?
No, because they're not films that we made, so they'd belong to someone else. Other public domain, but they're probably available other places as well.
We could get you all the CDs though, Jeannie. Jeannie
I
would
can
like
make you a
all the
DVD if you want.
Yeah, okay. There we go. All right, good to know that information. All right, with that, that brings us to a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
What the heck? A motion by Jeannie,
I don't know what to do now. What do I do with my hands?
I'll second that motion.
second by Linda.
Do I vote for this now?
Is there any further discussion on adjourning? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.